Good morning, everybody. My name is Rodolfo Dominguez, and I am the head of Auto Tech here at Deloitte. Today, we are here to talk about exciting new technologies and business models that transcend traditional car ownership. And to have that great conversation, I am joined by two amazing leaders in the industry. Gonzalo Michani from Hyundai Capital America, he's the head of mobility, and my colleague Jeff Hood, who is head of automotive and mobility at Deloitte. So welcome, gentlemen, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So what about we start with a little bit of what do we understand as new mobility? How do we understand mobility, and what are different exciting business models that we see within your own points of view? Maybe Gonzalo, within your role at Hyundai, let's talk a little bit about what does mobility mean for Hyundai?
Sure. So let's first start by explaining that Hyundai Capital America is the captive finance arm of the Hyundai Motor Group, and my mission is to develop financial services programs for the mobility initiatives that the group is overtaking. But then what is mobility, right? And the way I like to define it is as all the innovations that are leading toward more efficient, flexible, and sustainable ways to move people and things, and that provide an alternative to the way traditional vehicle and asset ownership has been developed so far. Now, what is that landscape, right? And I think there's a spectrum from more imminent advancements that we're seeing already and things that are probably further down the road. So on the imminent side of the equation, we have OEMs offering subscription programs to their consumers. We have progress in the ADAS, Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, and more exciting, what we're seeing in the autonomous vehicle space, with all the ride-hailing platforms expanding in cities not only in the US, but also across the globe. Now, another interesting technology, in my opinion, is like hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. One where the technology and the vehicles are there, right? We see the trucks, we see the cars, but probably we need more developments and optimization when it comes to infrastructure. In robotics, very interesting to see how these robots are increasing safety and reducing hazards in manufacturing facilities. And finally, in the advanced air mobility space, with the continuous development of electric vertical takeoff and landing crafts, I think that technology is way closer than we may actually think that it is.
Absolutely. A lot of exciting new developments here in the mobility space. Coincidentally, today we released Deloitte's 2025 Global Automotive Consumer Study, where one of the most interesting data points is that 44% of the younger consumers would give up traditional car ownership in favor of a mobility as a service solution. And so mobility as a service solutions are a collection of different modes of mobility that can be accessed by consumers in different ways. That brings exciting opportunities from a business perspective. So maybe the two of you can unpack from a business model perspective, what are the exciting opportunities and how are you planning on capitalize, maybe both from a Hyundai perspective and from a Deloitte, how do we help our clients in that space as well?
Sure. So through in-house development, acquisitions, strategic partnerships, the Hyundai Motor Group has been playing a key role in the mobility space. We see that there are different progresses, right? We talked about autonomous vehicles before. Autonomous vehicles, have been proved to reduce accidents, right? So they bring more safety to riders, to pedestrians, but also they provide all sorts of efficiencies, such as optimizing routes and reducing fuel emissions or even fuel needs, or even being electric and no emissions at all. In addition to the fact that now you can start talking about optimizing parking lots, declining the number of parking lots. So very cool thing to see there. I talked about hydrogen before, right? For years, the Hyundai Motor Group has been developing hydrogen trucks and cars. And I think the case for trucks is a very intuitive one. Mm-hmm. When you look at hydrogen and how a full load of hydrogen can make a truck go for more than 300 miles, but also the fact that that full load takes maybe 10 minutes, right, to get it done, and also the fact that hydrogen being such a dense element you don't need to have like a massive battery pack, which is adding weight to an already heavy truck with an already heavy load.
Correct.
So that seems very intuitive. But then let's think about consumers, right? In my case, I have an electric vehicle, I have a solar panel at home, and I have a charger.
Yeah.
But I live in Southern California. In other parts of the world, you don't have that space, the ability to have that setup, right? So then, in those cases, hydrogen also, offers a very interesting alternative when it comes to clean energy. Another space in which, I have the privilege to see what's happening is in robotics. And robotics, we all have the typical expectation that they will lift something, they will rotate it, they will place it, and that is happening. But I also got to learn that through robots, you can have serving in a manufacturing facility. These robots can identify a leak that by the time that a human detected it, it's already a hazard. It's a puddle. Maybe someone tripped and someone fell. So pretty cool to see those developments there. And finally, we talked about advanced air mobility before, right? So eVTOLs, what they do is they combine the technology of a helicopter and an airplane, in layman terms, right?
That's perfect.
But essentially, now things go up in a vertical way, and then because they have vertical blades, or because the blades that were horizontally then rotate, now you can move forward. So then all of a sudden you find a way by which you can move people in a fast way using a clean energy, right? So no noise, no pollution, and therefore, enabling an interesting use case for moving individuals in like downtown areas, financial districts, or even from or to airports.
Fantastic. Very exciting developments. And so, Jeff, along those lines, how do we help our clients or communities take advantage of these technologies to democratize access to mobility in exciting new ways?
Well, it's some great insights that you had, Gonzalo, and what an amazing platform you have at Hyundai Capital as part of all this mobility and investments that your firm is making. I think about mobility and the opportunity to really drive what you had elaborated on earlier, which is around efficiency and around flexibility. And it really makes me think about one of the best examples of that in North America is what the city of Detroit's doing with a program called Accessibility. And within this program, it's a 4-year autonomous vehicle deployment of a fleet designed to move senior citizens and disabled individuals to and from healthcare and other essential services. And so no matter where you're at in the world today, just think about your immediate family circle or your friend circle, and imagine what it's like to lack mobility and the quality of life impacts that has. And the city has done just an amazing job in testing the vehicle, engaging with the community through hundreds of different conversations to build trust with autonomous vehicles. I know that's an area that you're passionate about. And also using data to really optimize the vehicle experience. And so this is a use case that we're really excited about as a great example of a use case where you can not only have a social impact, but you can have an economic impact as well. And we're finding the economic drivers for this is coming from the supply side, because you're able to fill more physicians' offices, more doctors' offices, and dentist chairs, as well as the grocery stores have higher turns and frequency of visitors. And so it's a great model for just about everybody.
That's super exciting on all fronts. And of course, while there's a road to travel still, in terms of infrastructure, trust, adoption, clearly we've made tremendous progress, right? And the promise is there. So Gonzalo, you talked about the role of Hyundai Capital America at the captive financial arm of the Hyundai Group. So how does this new ecosystem of mobility solutions influence or impact the role of captive, right? Because at the end of the day, traditional car leasing and loan is what we've done for decades, and we've perfected it. But these are all brand new, exciting models, and you have to be just as keenly concerned with, data privacy, customer experience, all the capabilities that will allow you to make the most out of these valuable opportunities. So let's talk a little bit about the evolution of auto captive, right? In light of these technology evolutions here.
Yeah. So look, I think as a captive, right, as I was saying before, the mission is to develop the financial services programs so you can unleash the power of finance and enable the OEM in delivering, these products. But I'm going to quote Spider-Man here, and with great power comes great responsibility, right? And really what that means is that first, as a captive, we need to truly understand the asset. Like, what is the primary market? What is the secondary market? Like, overall, devising a strategy to optimize the life cycle management of these products. Mm-hmm. And then there's a second element, which is the borrower, right? I come from the banking world, and one of the first lessons that you get taught is you need to understand character, right? And character of the borrower speaks toward creditworthiness, what is their business model, what are their projections, so then you can make an informed decision so that you can lend responsibly. And once we get to that point, it's really when we can start thinking about designing optimized, frictionless, smoothless mobility experiences, highly personalized for the different agents that participate in this ecosystem.
Very exciting. And maybe Jeff, what about data? I assume data is a big consideration behind all of these models. So how do we see data monetization opportunities in light of this mobility developments?
Yeah, data monetization is a topic we've been speaking about at CES since 2016. We're very passionate about data monetization, but more from an indirect monetization strategy. We don't believe that direct monetization, licensing of the data, selling of the data about consumers during the mobility experience really builds a massive business. Sure, you could probably build a 10 to maybe $50 million business by selling those data assets, but it's fraught with a lot of risk, privacy risk, and other issues that come along with that. We're really interested in the indirect monetization of data that comes in the form of use cases. So using that data and insight and the power of AI to hyper-personalize experiences during the mobility journey in order to increase loyalty. So those who've been in the industry know 1% change in loyalty is $1 billion opportunity. And there are other use cases behind that, like predictive maintenance opportunities to be able to drive more service and parts revenue at the dealership. The ability to mitigate a large-scale warranty recall, and just with micro recalls, you can save tons and tons of money. And then finally, I think new business models. So opening up subscription models and other forms of new business models. All this together is a massive portfolio in the billions of dollars versus millions of dollars of just trying to license data. So that's our perspective.
I could not be more excited. And see, we're at CES, where I think AI is going to be the star of the show this year. However, it's really an enabler, right, to create these seamless experiences. We have multiple modalities of mobility that consumers will be able to access with the convenience of an app eventually. Payments will be very seamless. So the role of the captive, the OEM, all of the partners in the technology ecosystem is really a team effort to make the most of these technologies to then truly democratize access, mobility access for everyone. So maybe in closing, because we have an exciting few days here at CES ahead of us, what excites you the most about the near future when it comes to your roles and the landscape ahead of us here? Maybe start with you, Jeff.
Sure. Well, I think, like some of you, I'm really excited about the prospects of where we can take autonomous mobility. I think it has the opportunity to really drive safety and reduce the 40-some-odd thousand incidents that occur in the United States, deaths, fatalities, and really put a dent in that. So this will be an exciting era now that autonomous is starting to work its way into a new frontier and it's gaining capital investment from other players. So that's probably what I have my eye on the most.
Thank you, Jeff. Gonzalo.
Yeah, no, I think it's exciting to talk about these topics, right? It's exciting to see in an industry that for so many years things have changed marginally. All of a sudden we start experiencing all these disruptions. And I'm just, expectant and adamant, to see how things evolve and how quickly we can start leveraging all these technologies and these improvements.
Thank you both. What's clear to us is that as we encourage our clients today in the automotive space, it's no longer good to have quality product or outstanding cars. Automotive players truly have to evolve into mobility ecosystem orchestrators, much like what we heard today, to really make the most of the future and eventually focus on those autonomous connected vehicle fleet management capabilities to deliver the mobility experiences that consumers are expecting. Thank you very much for joining us today for this exciting CES LinkedIn Live. We look forward to continuing the conversation and have a fantastic time at CES. Thank you.